Hello and welcome to episode 61 of the Talk Nintendo podcast. I am one of your hosts, Casey Gibson, and joining me this fine pre-Thanksgiving Eve times 2.5, Perry Burkham.
Oh, Casey, I over the course of this podcast, I've slowly been evolving my way of recording of my sitting and whatnot. I have like a reclined chair. Like it's not a recliner, but like when you sit back, it rests your back. It's really, really nice. But I haven't used an ottoman until tonight. And now my legs are up. Oh my goodness.
So you were...
I might fall asleep during this.
You were quite literally in the comfort zone for this podcast right here is what you're telling me?
Oh,
I
am.
In the zone.
I am in the zone. So, yeah, how's it going?
Not too bad. I am not nearly as comfortable as you are. I'm just in here, standard computer chair up on the desk. Pretty bare bones. And, not all of us can afford the bells and whistles of pure comfort like some of us can. But you know what?
Bells and whistles of comfort.
Hey,
like
man.
That.
Yeah. But you know what? We're gonna get through this, and I think this is gonna be a good episode. We've got, of course. We've got what we've been playing. We're going to be talking about. We've got another Switch exclusive eShop roundup. Then head over to the saloon and the old news block, and then I think we got a fun little treat for the topic of the show, don't we?
Heck yeah! Are we going to announce it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Well, in the name of Thanksgiving, which is a fantastic holiday.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Where you can sit and you give thanks to the blessings that you have in life. And, and we're going to do that with video games.
Now, only if we'd prepped, we could have gotten like a turkey leg and some mashed potatoes. Maybe. I don't really like stuffing, to be honest with you. Not Casey, a stuffing man. You know what I do like, though?
Casey Reginald Gibson.
Boo!
How dare you?
You know what I do like, though?
What?
Some good old-fashioned green beans, baby. Or peas, excuse me, not beans.
Wait.
I hate green beans.
Wait, green bean casserole? You don't like that?
No, I don't mind green beans, I should say. But no, peas. I'm in love with peas.
Oh, I love all food. I do. I've officially... And you know what? It's funny that I mentioned that because on Sunday, we had Thanksgiving with my wife's family, and they made these yams, like sweet potatoes, and boiled them and cut them and brown sugar and marshmallows and baked them, and it's like eating it's like a dessert basically. It's so good, and so that was like the last, yams? Candied yams, the last thing off my list. It's like I now like all food.
Yeah, my brother's a big yam fan.
Oh man,
that's a weird thing to
good.
say. Yam fan.
Yam fan. That is weird.
It doesn't blend together nicely. But
yeah,
anyway,
Thanksgiving. I mean, the best food holiday in America for sure.
Yeah, and since we won't be able to feast on any food here on the podcast, we're going to just feast on some of our favorite and I don't want to say favorite games we're most thankful for, because I definitely have a couple games I'm going to talk about that I would not put in the upper echelons of my favorite game, but their importance is there.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so that's going to be fun. But before we do that, you have been playing an ungodly amount of video games this week, and it's not getting any lighter next week. So
no,
you better just start talking before we run out of time here.
Well, so I have a bunch that I'm doing. I may be reviewing 4 games right now, but
you're an animal, a straight up animal.
I haven't finished a bunch of them, and I'll save them for next week. But the one I am going to talk about is Batman The Telltale Series. So, Casey, I have never played a Telltale game, ever. Not once.
I have played one chapter of The Walking Dead on my Vita a couple years ago, but yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with it, but I have an idea of what they are.
Yeah, very interesting having a Telltale game on Vita, like the portable. I guess that would be. See, here's the thing. It's what I figured out is sure there are some game elements, but it feels like you're watching a Netflix show, like at least the Batman one does. It feels like I was watching like a superhero show, like Netflix exclusive. That's just that's the best thing I can think of.
Yeah, and I could agree with that. I know I've seen screenshots of Batman and it looks gorgeous, where the Walking Dead sort of had more of a Borderlands feel, which it's still very good looking, but more of that cartoony kind of look to it, cell shading.
It has this in Batman. It has that cell shading type look, but it just, I think it fits. They do a great job with the production, like fitting it to the Gotham universe. Mm-hmm. And now this is a completely unique story. Like it's not based off anything. It has its own like universe basically. This is the first season, so there are I think the third episode of the second season is out, but that's not included on this. This is just the first season, and it really caught me by surprise how amazing the production overall of this game. It unbelievable, like the voice acting, the audio production, but then and the visual. I mean, just the direction, like the shot by shot. Oh my goodness, it's like it's like just as good, as. I mean, of course, it's very video gamey. There's some awkward, polygons and stuff of sometimes the movement of like it's not like Pixar animation. It's not like the most amazing animation, but for like. It's almost like a comic book, It's a very well produced comic book movie show thing. But the main hook of this, right, is that you can make decisions and let the story go in different ways. Now, it doesn't really change the way the story goes a lot. I mean,
doesn't it sort of just change the interactions between characters more so?
Yeah. I'd say it's more like. You're in a conversation with someone, and then you get these options for these choices, and it's like, well, which one of these sounds more interesting to you? Like, what do you want them to talk about right here? How do you want to react to how they say, and now, not necessarily changing the story in a big thing, but they will remember things, and it'll say, Commissioner Gordon will remember that. Or whatever, and that. It tells you every time that when you do something, really cool. So for instance, you can make decisions as you go to be like overly violent or to be a little more tame, and then that will follow you, and you'll have like what am I looking for? Like not a following, but the people will know you as being violent.
Yeah,
a reputation.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, your reputation, kind of, and so like, I
take you as someone who goes in and tries to be good before resulting to or going to violence.
Well, maybe when I'm not Batman. Ooh. But when I am Batman, now here's the thing. I mean, like when you're watching a dang movie. And the stupid, like, you know that this guy's evil and he's talking to you, and they get done and then they punch him and then he falls to the ground and they don't make sure he's dead and then they walk away and then he gets back up.
You got to do the double tap, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so I'm the kind of guy that, like, okay, if there is this guy who just murdered a bunch of people, I'm going to kill the guy. I'm not gonna, now as Batman, you don't kill guys.
I'm sending the police to your house.
Yeah. No, it's the kind of thing where, like, it's so annoying. It's like
you want swift justice when it comes to these Jimmies.
I want absolute swift prairie justice. is what they like to call it. Where I just take it into my hands. It's like, why would I have them go through? I don't want the police to have to deal with this guy. I don't want to have a huge, and you don't kill people, right? Because it's Batman. But, like, for instance, you might break a part of their body where they can't do
snap a couple
what they
bones.
want to do. Yeah, which is the funniest, and I know that that's kind of the funny, ironic thing with Batman. It's like, and
as long as he doesn't kill you, he'll do anything.
I'm not gonna
to
kill you, but I'll break every bone in your body. It's like
that was pretty. That was pretty good, dude.
Thanks. Yeah. Unfortunately, well, it makes sense. So Kevin Conroy, the voice of like all the other Batman, like animated stuff and the Arkham games, he actually isn't the voice of this, and I think one of the big reasons is because this is a young Batman. A lot of in fact, every single villain, like classic villain, he's kind of meeting for the first time in the thing.
Okay, that's an interesting take on it. I sort of like that.
Yeah.
Bring it back to the roots.
He's pretty young. I think he's in the late 20s even. Like he's
still a billionaire, that son of a gun.
Well, it's from his rich parents. And there's some really cool, really fun ideas on the Batman story that you all know. And it's nothing like they're trying to be too crazy where it's like it's not Batman anymore. It's a really good story, and I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Well, that's good to hear.
Until
you got Telltale.
Apparently, see, I don't know the reputation that Telltale has for this kind of stuff, but now I do. In the 4th episode, everything's going good, I'm doing this action sequence, and I'm like, like an hour and a half through the episode, and you have like those those real-time events.
Yeah, where you gotta make the choices quick,
yep.
Right?
Yeah, and sometimes you have to like aim like with the analog stick and then hit a button to to shoot like a batarang or something at something. And I missed, I wasn't ready for it, and it killed me. It's supposed to be pretty hard right there. And then the screen, like, you just redo and it should back you up a little bit. But the screen was just black. And the audio was still going. But the screen was just black. And then I could pause the game. I could pause the game, switch the settings and stuff. But that's it. Like, I could go through the menu, but it's like everything was working. It wasn't like a hard freeze. It was just, so I waited and waited, probably 10-15 minutes, and nothing happened. So, as you're going through the story, there's this little save icon, that pops up.
Yeah, like the autosave.
Yeah. So I was like, well, okay, I'll just go back and, we'll start where, and I go back, and the only thing you can do is start from the beginning of the episode. And
you said, an hour and a half in?
Yeah.
So,
that was the worst. And then I had to teach some lessons, and so I had my beautiful and nice wife Jill. She played through it, like, handheld mode, and up in our bedroom while I was teaching, and she got to the point where I was, and I got to the same part, and I died because it wouldn't let me do, like, I was completely ready for it, but the control actually wouldn't even work. It wouldn't even like go to where I could do it. The guy killed me, and the same exact thing happened. I couldn't do anything about it. So it was like 3 hours, like,
dude, that's
down the drain.
Terrible. That's terrible.
And you know what? It is terrible. It really is, and it's such a darn shame because that game is unbelievable. Remember, I was texting you like crazy, right?
Yep.
I mean, remember, I was just like, this is amazing. Like, I can't believe how good the story is, how engrossed I am and everything. Like, and I'm like I'm reviewing it, and it's like, dang it, this might be another freaking high review,
Yeah, it's definitely
for goodness sake, and we get to the point, and it's one of those things where, and I've been sending a few emails with Telltale. They asked me about it, and apparently, and this is good. I'm glad. Apparently, this is not a common thing. Like, they haven't had, and no one else has had this problem. Uh, so that's good. So I'm taking that into account. But
I wonder
I
if
had
it's
this.
one of those things where if you uninstalled it and then reinstalled it, but then I feel like at that point you'd most likely end up losing all of your progress, right? Like I doubt you
Exactly.
can uninstall but keep the save.
Right. Right. So, I'm talking with people on staff and we're all talking about it. And then my wife was like, hey, why don't we just start on episode 5? Because it was like at the very end. There was probably like 10, 15 minutes left of episode 4. I was like, well, you know what? Like, that makes sense. And so we did that. And unfortunately, when we did that, it just redid all of the options that I had made up until that point. It just wrote them in randomly. So it just made, there was no difference. But, like I said, it's not like the options make things super drastically different. Like, for instance, maybe a relationship, you won't have that relationship anymore with someone. Or you'll end it like not liking them, or you'll end it like liking them. Like, it's one of those things where, but it's not like gonna like completely change the story. It would be cool if it did, but it's also good that it doesn't for this reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say for that instance, I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's still disheartening though because
it
you did
is.
play through just about 4 complete chapters and
Yeah.
you lose your progress because of something like
Yeah.
that, which is pretty big bummer,
It's a huge bummer, and the reason why it's such a huge bummer is because I love the game so much, and I really cared about the story, and it's like I don't like all the production going into this, all of the beautiful storyboards and direction and voice acting and just top notch performance, and then just to be, to hit something like this, it just really is a darn shame.
It took the wind
That's
out
all
of
I
your
can
sails.
say. It really did. It's like I forgot things like that could happen, and so and like going through the 5th chapter, I'm like terrified out of my mind that it's gonna happen.
Yeah, every turn
it's like
you're just waiting.
It's like being scared that the game's gonna crash is not a good feeling to have while playing a game. So, like, it's like, are you kidding me? I can't start anywhere. Like, let me start somewhere.
Yeah, you think if they were doing auto saves along the way, that it would just send you back to the next closest one, But it seems like it wouldn't have mattered because you would have just ended up running into that same issue every time, most likely. But
I think what they should do with these games, if apparently this is a very common thing with Telltale games, they should just make it so you can go to any part, at least when they have the seasons released at once. Go to any part of just have the dang script and the checkpoints, and you can go to any part you want and start anywhere. Like if you were watching.
And input certain things maybe would be cool, I chose this, and that.
Yeah, because it's like I want to watch it, but if anything like this happens, I should be able to just quickly go through and make the big decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a backup. And I feel like, and even if, and then you can save files and stuff. So this is one of the things where hopefully it gets patched, and I really hope it does, and if it does, I would definitely go through the whole thing and play it. Like, I'm looking forward to playing it again. It's really good, but unfortunately I have to tell people this,
Oh,
but
yeah.
It didn't like completely ruin the experience but it did just, was a punch to the gut. But, so if hopefully it doesn't happen to anyone, but now I guess anyone listening to this who's gonna play it is gonna be scared.
It's gonna be weary, yeah. They're gonna be like, "Oh no, not chapter 4."
Yeah. So I did play through chapter 5, and there was no problems, and so there's that. But anyway, that's Batman: The Telltale Series. Like I said, I'm gonna have my review up pretty soon. I've kind of been talking with them and seeing what was going on first before I posted. And so, look forward to that. And, darn shame. Such a darn shame.
Mm.
But what's not a darn shame? I tell you what.
Yep. Is a little game I think we've both been playing, and I can say I think with complete certainty because we've been playing together. So I actually know you've been playing this game. We've been playing, and I'm sure a lot of people have been playing, good old Rocket League.
Oh, Rocket League. Oh man, I think everything that I've heard about it, I think it's lived up to that.
Yeah, I mean, I had played this game originally on the PS4 when it came out. They did the free, it was free with PSN, or PS Plus if you had the online, subscription. This was a free game, and I actually didn't get it for free at the time because, by the time it caught wind and everyone was talking about it, it was off of PSN, or I keep calling PSN, PS Plus, so I didn't get it for free, but I ended up buying it because the hype was just so much, and I played it, and I had a fun time, and I could definitely see where, why people have fallen in love with this game and become so addicted. But for me, it was like, okay, I played it, whatever. And even when I picked it up on the Switch, I played, the first night. It came out on a Tuesday at midnight, so it was Monday night going into Tuesday morning at midnight. And I think you were busy or something, or maybe it took so long to download, we didn't get to play. So I ended up playing a couple matches by myself, and I'm like, alright. Like, cool, Rocket League, fun. And, of course, anyone who doesn't know what Rocket League is, the real quick and dirty explanation is it's like soccer with cars, in this big arena with walls.
It's literally soccer.
Yeah, and it's like you're in an arena and you're completely enclosed in, so the ball can hit off the ceiling, the walls, and you could ride up on the walls and onto the ceiling and all that jazz. But yeah, so I was like, all right, it is what it is. But when we started playing together is really when it's like, oh my god, this game is so good.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is.
It is so much better when you have someone on Skype, or if you want to be crazy and try and use the Nintendo app to talk to one another. And
is that on there?
It should be, right?
No.
Isn't it just like
the only thing that supports it isn't it Splatoon?
I thought it was just like you could connect to people on your Switch, like it didn't matter if you were in the game. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
No, Casey.
I'm giving it too much credit, I guess. But
oh yeah, you can't do anything like that. So, yes. You can only do it in private battles on Splatoon 2.
For some reason, I thought like if you were friends on the Switch, you could like jump into a room to talk while playing a game.
No, you can't do anything like that.
You don't have to laugh at me,
Jimmy.
Jinx.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, jump on Skype, play with some friends, and it is so much fun because, I mean, it's just so much better to be able to communicate. And, like, they have, like, quick commands, like, I'm going, like, defense, or, I'm going, I got it kind of thing, which you can use, and that'll definitely still be helpful. But just to be able to be like, hey, I'm going to stick back, you go up and attack, or, like, when you're in the corner and you're like, I'm going to dish it out front, like, heads up. It's just so easy with communication to be able to try and get some plays going. And for me, and Perry knows this all too well, and I think he's probably in the same boat, we get in, like, I get into position, like, I'm always in the right position, and I'm like, oh, yes, and I could just never execute what I want to do. Like, oh, there's the ball, I see where it's coming, I know where I need to go, if I hit it like this, perfect. And then, like, I'll just completely miss it, or, like, oh, I hit it way too much on the side, and now the ball's in the corner, not near the net at all. And it's like, dang it. But
and then you play with people who can always hit it exactly.
Oh, yeah, they're just perfect every time.
Yeah.
But you know what? That 1 out of 10 times that I hit it perfectly and just how I wanted to hit it, it makes it so satisfying. And it's just like, this is why I need to keep playing this game, because of moments like that. And it sort of reminds me of a little bit of Goner in the sense, I mean, not the gameplay, not at all, but that sense of, like, in the beginning when you first started to play, and you're like, I'm so bad, but every once in a while I get that one run that's just so satisfying that I have to continue to keep playing. That's Rocket League. It's like you get those
Yep.
games and the moments in the game that you're just like, oh, it felt so good. So good.
Yes. It exactly. The Rocket League has, I think one of my favorite parts about it too is like the customization. I mean, because it's all kind of aesthetics and you're always unlocking stuff like every match.
Oh yeah, it's super satisfying, and usually it's just something so minuscule, or like oh now you've got a new exhaust when you hit the boost, and a lot of them are pretty similar, like oh it's just a different color, but like those occasions when you unlock something cool, like my 10-gallon hat that says champ on it.
Oh man, so jelly.
Oh, and it's like yes,
So jealous.
oh
It's so good.
it is,
And it's just funny. It makes me laugh every time I see it.
yeah, I guess we could touch a tiny little bit. I know we got some other games to talk about too, but the loot boxes in this game are strange because they give you the loot box, or they call them crates. You earn these, again, like how we said, you sort of randomly always unlock something after every match, it seems like. And you'll get these crates, and at first I'm like, oh, sweet. And I saw it, and it was like a possibility of, and they had a bunch of things listed in there, and I'm like, okay, and I think I tried to click on open it, and I was like, that's weird, it didn't, and then we got into another match. But then, of course, when you go back and look at it, you need to purchase keys from the eShop with real money to open up these crates, and I don't know how many items are in the crate. I mean, you get one item, but there's it rolls between I don't know if it's 8, 10, or 12 different items in there, so you got, a possibility to get, so you pretty much know what you're gonna get. Like, you're gonna get one of these 10 items, and it's just a roll to see what you get. So that's sort of weird. I wish there were ways that you could unlock keys in game, even if it was like a difficult thing to do. Like, oh, you hit level 30, like here's a key, But I'm pretty sure it's exclusive to real life monies.
Yeah, that is such an interesting way to unlock stuff.
You know what though? I mean, I don't know if there are things that are literally just locked to the crate. You know what I mean? Like if it's like you can only get this through the crate, or if it's just the crate has a bunch of rare things, so you have a better chance of getting the rare items. But
yeah, and I don't think you get doubles, right?
I don't think so, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I don't know. But you can trade to people.
Yeah, what's cool is, I guess, like say you have 3 or 4 crates. If you find someone that is looking for an item in one of your crates, you could trade that crate to them for items, or you could trade it, say, hey, like give me a key so I can open my other crates, So, but I don't know how you would find a partner outside of like one of your friends that might have it. I don't know if maybe you can go online.
Well, probably online, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe there's got to be some sort of like forum that maybe you can trade on. But
I mean, we were playing last night, and there's 50,000 people playing at the same time as us.
Yeah, I mean the cross. I mean, again.
Oh, that is such a cool thing, isn't it?
The cross plays nice, and I have only been disconnected from a game once.
Yep, it was last night, right?
Yeah, and it was right after I praised how great the online infrastructure was.
Yeah, that was hilarious. You're like, man, this is the best online ever. And then literally seconds after that, we got booted from the...
It was like the Switch was listening, But no, outside of that one match, and we've been playing a lot of Rocket League over the last week or so.
We have. I bet we've put in a good 8 hours.
I'd say probably even more.
Yeah, maybe more.
But no. So I mean,
and David Lloyd's been playing with us too.
Old Jill as well.
And which I okay. So I think we should cut it short here because we're gonna be doing an impressions video on Rocket League for YouTube with game
footage and
whatnot.
See how good and bad we are.
Yeah. So I say we save that kind of talk for there, not to tease everyone. But we got a show to keep going. Yeah. We can't just keep talking about Rocket League.
Yeah, we could easily continue to talk about Rocket League,
yeah,
but
we could.
I could also talk about a little something else I've been playing.
Yeah, and what's that?
That is Rive Ultimate Edition for the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so I remember this game, E3 2015, I believe, where there was a bunch of, they called it like Nindies at Home from E3, and you could download these demos, and if you downloaded them on the Wii U, you got 15% off when they came out. And Rive was one of these, and I didn't download it for some reason. I don't know why, but I just didn't see it or something. And I do remember it being one of those, and that was for the Wii U, like 2.5 years ago. So, like, it's finally out from Two Tribes, which I've heard that they've closed shop. I think that Two Tribes is no more, and I think that this is like,
are you sure?
Their last thing. Something like that.
Maybe
there was something.
I know they retweeted my review on Twitter, but granted, that could I don't know if that could just be, of course, promoting the game as well. So I don't know if
I don't know. There's something's going on. But anyway.
But no, anyway. So this game is it's like a shoot 'em up cross platformer, and that sounds weird, but it's amazing. So naturally, when you're thinking of a shoot 'em up, you're sort of thinking, all right, classic shoot 'em up, you're either going horizontally or vertical. You're sort of just in an open space shooting enemies, and like, sure, there are some times you sort of have to, like, oh, there's something coming out of the way, I gotta avoid that, But pretty much you're flying and you're just sort of moving and just killing enemies as you go. And oh, this enemy drops a power up. Now I'm a little stronger. Then I die, and then I got to start picking up the power ups again. But this game is not like that at all. So it is very platform heavy.
Ooh, you got my attention.
So you're in this little mobile, and it almost looks like a little like crab walking along the ground, and you're pretty much like, okay, I'm gonna go find some loot in this big abandoned ship, or so you thought, kind of thing. So you go in there, you get trapped, and you're trying to work your way out, and you're going through a bunch of different areas, and finally you get out, and all of a sudden you're not really out because there's more defense. And anyway, so this game blends that platforming, and there is difficult platforming, not like so insane that it's like pixel perfect platforming, but there's some tight jumps and some areas where you're really going to have to concentrate, because in the midst of this platforming is just chaos going on around you. So there's a lot of enemies coming at you, and it's a twin stick shooter in that sense, where you're controlling with one stick and you aim 360 with the other one. And you're going to be facing a lot of enemies. And there are definitely areas that actually you go into like an anti-gravity spot. So then those are more similar to a traditional shoot 'em up, where it sort of gets rid of that platforming for a little bit, and you concentrate on sort of flying through this area, taking out enemies. And the game's got some humor for better or worse. Where there's actually a point where it's like it takes it away, where you can literally only shoot forward. So it's like, okay, now this is like really harkening back to like vintage shoot 'em ups from the day, And the character is very fourth wall, like breaks the fourth wall a lot, where this is classic shooting, and just like little things here and there, and some of them are funny, but honestly, most of the time it's just like, just shut up, dude. like, come on, let's just keep going. Like, you don't need to keep talking. So that got a little grating as the game went on, but ultimately, not like a game-breaking kind of thing.
Right.
Now, as I said before, with the shoot 'em up, you generally, you would get power-ups, and when you die, you sort of you have to restart fresh, right? You go back to that weak ship, and it feels almost unfair. It's just bad design, really, and it makes sense in the arcade quarter eating days that you would reward not dying and being strong, and then when you die, it's like now I'm in trouble, and you're fighting an uphill battle. But this game, you actually unlock items, and they stay with you for good. I should say abilities, not items. and there are 4 of them, and like one's like a shotgun, one's like homing missiles, and they got a couple different ones to play with. I'm not gonna spoil them all here, but pretty much after you beat a mission, and there's I believe 12 missions. 12 missions, and after certain missions, you can upgrade your ship, and you can upgrade your health or your armor, or like, oh, I make the magnet on my ship stronger so it gathers items and materials from further distances. But then you can also unlock these abilities, and you'll have these for the rest of your adventure. Now, you can't just spam them, though. You have ammo, essentially, and it's really like one shot. Like, you've got one in the can, you know what I mean? And once you use it, you need to get more ammo from enemies. And they're pretty liberal. It's not like it's not like a Resident Evil game where you're just like, oh god, I'm not going to get any more ammo for, another hour. You get them pretty good, especially in some of the sections where enemies are coming in, crazy amounts. So, and those are really beneficial for boss battles,
Yeah.
And then there's also this ability, the hacking ability. So you can actually hack enemies, certain enemies, not every enemy, and you'll take them over and they'll be on your team. So
Ooh, I love a good hack.
So some of them will be like a heal bot. So he follows you around, and when you take damage, he heals you up for a certain amount, and then he'll break. There's one like a turret.
Yep.
That just sort of, he flies around, he helps you. Whenever you're shooting, he'll shoot at an enemy too. And just some cool things. And they ramp up that idea with some boss battles and stuff that are really cool and really fun. Now, I guess the 2 things, to wrap it up here. First, the game looks really nice. I believe it runs 60 frames per second. And just...
Or at least it looks like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's... I'm pretty sure it's 60 frames. Yeah. And it looks beautiful. Like I said, what's nice with running 60 frames is when there are so many enemies on the screen, I never experienced any slowdown or anything of that extent, which is, obviously in a game like this, if you've played older shoot 'em ups, you sort of get used to those patches where it's like, oh, a lot of enemies on the screen, we're sort of chugging here. That's never the case with this game, which is really nice.
Nice.
And
that's awesome.
I touched on the fun bosses and stuff, and the controls are solid, and it's just really a fun game. I really liked it. You can get through.
Cool.
You can get through it relatively quick, but there's high scores, and there are like different like single credit mode and a more difficult setting for those crazy people out there who really want a challenge. And I guess to put a bow on this, it has a funny little co-op mode, which is it's so clever. It's a simple idea, but it's clever. When you play 2 players, each person will control one function of the ship. So you'll have one person who controls where the ship goes, and the other person will control the gun. So you have to work together, obviously, and it was just fun. I didn't play a ton of it. Just grab Kate for a quick sec, and then when you die, the roles reverse. So no one's like, oh, no one's gonna be stuck on one role for the entire time. So just a fun little additional mode for some co-op play. But yeah, this game's tough, man.
Is that good for like Joy-Con? Like, can you?
Yeah, because it's. The controls are very simple, so the Joy-Cons are good to go, and yeah. But yeah, cool. The game is definitely tough. I should make that noticed.
Okay.
There are areas. The game in general is pretty tough, but there are some areas where it really spikes up on you, and you're like, I beat the game. I didn't play on the super. I played a little bit on the super difficult, but for my the main game playthrough, I went on just regular, and there's still definitely areas that I died a bunch. So I can only imagine when you really dive into the more difficult setting how tough it really ramps up. But no, very fun game. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and to touch on Two Tribes, they actually closed their office last year in September, and they made like a a little like a new development team just to finish this game and to support their old games.
Okay.
But yeah, apparently they invested tons and tons into Tokitori 2, and that just like completely flopped. And yeah, which is really unfortunate, but
yeah, that is a shame.
that'd be a good Switch. I bet I'm sure they'll port that over too.
Well,
if they're porting.
I'll say
Rive.
if this is their final swan song, it is a good one. And for anyone who's a fan, like I said, it's got some good platforming. It's got some good shoot 'em up. And when you put the two together and you're jumping platforms while dealing with a ton of enemies, it really does get tough. And it's just really, really great game. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for telling us about that's Rive.
Rive.
It's
All
Rive,
caps.
But what's the
Ultimate Edition.
Ultimate Edition? There you go. Well, let's take a little break. Come back, and you know what time it is. Hey, welcome back, and we're gonna do the good old Switch eShop Roundup. And you know why we're gonna do the eShop Roundup?
Because it wouldn't be a week.
There's 17 new freaking games coming out this week, just on Switch.
I honestly, I feel like this is just every week now. It's
gotta
that's
stop.
it.
The madness has to stop.
That's 3 weeks with 15 plus games, right?
Yes.
Ridiculous.
The madness has to end.
Remember when we were like, there's 200 games on the Switch? I think there's about 3,000 now.
Yeah.
It feels that way. I mean,
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And it really is beautiful. And I'm hoping these people, these developers are getting their just reward.
I sure hope so. I know these people are, because they have pumped out more games than anyone has ever done in the entirety of the world.
Good old hamster toss.
Yep, they're giving us a Neo Geo game, and you guys guessed it, it's a fighter. And this week's it is Karnov's Revenge.
Karnov's Revenge.
Now this
Wonderful.
is, as you imagine, a good old $7.99, and this is it looks like a fighter. It looks like a 2D fighter, and
it's man, gorgeous pixel graphics, and just as always, funny characters. It looks like Street Fighter. I'm looking at these, but yep. But don't them all look like
I
Street Fighter.
personally really like the fight that looks like it's happening underneath a bridge with like a punk band playing rock and roll, or I guess they'd be playing punk music in the background while these two are just Ray and Matlock are just fighting it out right now. Matlock.
Beautiful. Well, next up though, Matlock. Next up we have Lumo, which for 1995, this is from Rising Star Games, and they say it's a true love letter to the golden age of gaming. So, what it looks like, I mean, looking at photos,
it looks fascinating.
Looks like Captain Toad-esque isometric view, and it's a platformer. I mean, yeah, I don't know what else. I mean, it's you have to witness the rebirth of the genre in Lumo, a classic isometric adventure with a modern twist. That's exactly what I said.
I really do like how it looks. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that isometric view. It reminds me of Final Fantasy Tactics. Although this game doesn't look like it'd play anything like Final Fantasy Tactics.
It does though say that, but for those who lived through the golden age of video games, the 80s and the early 90s. That is the golden age. I did not realize that.
I don't know. 2017 might be the new golden age.
I think it's the platinum age.
Ooh-wee.
You heard it here first, folks.
Moving on
but
up.
Speaking of moving on up, let's go to the next game, which is Antiquia Lost.
I'm glad you took that, because I was trying to figure out, I'm like, is it Antiquia?
It's probably one of those. I said Antiquia, because that's what phonetically...
An authentic RPG of a journey with a girl made of slime. Enjoy fluid 2D turn-based battles.
Oh.
Oh, that is so good.
Man.
Well, it looks
like a Chemco RPG.
Yeah. I really like the looks like a cat man, and he's in like a big old scholar suit. I like it. His name's Jade. Right. Or her name. Right. Maybe I guess it's her name, Jade. Anyway, we've got next on the docket here.
This came out of nowhere, and I just heard about it for the first time.
Is it actually
literally
released?
As I was doing this? It says proceed to purchase.
Because I remember seeing, I guess when I saw it, it looked like it was a rumor of some sort. I guess
it's on there. I'm on my Switch, and I can purchase it right now, and that is...
Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle Gold Edition. Clocking in at $79.99. Nice $20 on top. I think it's literally just the game plus the DLC season pass, right?
It has 8 new solo challenges plus 5 co-op maps, 16 nude weapons.
Nude weapons? Woo! You pervert. I can't do this podcast with a pervert.
I got news for you. You've been doing it with the pervert for a long time.
Don't talk about Caitlin like that.
She doesn't do the podcast. Okay. And it also has an exclusive world featuring a new hero coming in early 2018.
Yeah, so essentially I think that sounds just like the contents of the season pass.
Yeah.
So, I guess,
I assume.
You know, it makes sense. If you put that on store shelves Christmas time, you see Mario. Oh, this is the gold edition. This is the one little Tommy or little Sally's going to want.
It's going to be on store shelves like that? Like gold edition?
I assumed.
They're going to do another release. Interesting. I don't know why I haven't heard about this. Weird, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Strange.
But there you go. Next up, though, we have Ginger Beyond the Crystal for $19.99 from Badland Games. Ooh, look at this little game.
Yeah, it looks cute. What it looks like, maybe a platformer. Looks like an action platformer.
3D platformer.
Yeah. Nice, vibrant graphics.
A world destroyed by a crystal explosion.
A mysterious threat hanging over its inhabitants.
A goddess who creates a hero. This is Ginger Beyond the Crystal.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, the features 3 worlds to repopulate. 15 levels of adventures and platforms.
Did you say how much that one clocked in at?
$19.99, sir.
All right. Yeah. So, if you're done with Mario and you still need a little platforming adventure in your life, that might be.
It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Yep. But what do we have next?
Next up, we have Xenoraid. Or Xenoraid?
Yes. I think it doesn't matter how you say that.
This is
whatever Xeno means.
Yep. Coming in at $8.99. This is a classic shooter with modern features. Now, this looks like a shooter, all right. I mean,
the modern features, huh?
Like I said, I mean, the screenshots really aren't. It looks like you. I don't know if that's you can purchase a number of different ships, or it might be that you can play
switch between
up to
4
players.
fighters during combat to bring in the best weapons for each situation.
And it looks like you could play up to 4 players. This is from 10 Tons. You know what? 10 Tons is bring a lot of games to the Switch.
They sure are. I'm
I'm
wondering if they made this or if they're publishing it, but I don't.
I think they realize they're like, we need to get.
No, I think they did. It has the same font and it looks like the same stuff from. Oh, this is like the same engine as the other ones. It's just a shooter now. Interesting. Okay, and remember this is only $8.99. So I'm probably gonna have to check this dang old thing out because I
demand you don't, because you already have too many games, Perry. You're gonna
Thank you.
You're gonna die from too many games.
Okay, back out.
Yeah.
Back out of purchase. I shouldn't look at these games on my Switch while we're on here.
You're like, I already purchased it.
Yeah.
It's downloading.
Leave me alone, Casey.
I need my crack.
My crack is Xenoraid.
Next up, we've got Green Game Time Swapper for $2.99.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, only $2.99.
I don't like the name.
It reminds me of 36 Fragments. Looking at the screenshots.
But more green.
Okay, now
Green
here's the thing with the name. I remember when this was announced coming to Switch, and there's a red game.
Okay.
That is like it goes with it.
I get,
and it's like a different thing. So
see, I get it, and by looking at the screenshots, it is very green for sure. The backgrounds are very green. Now, that would, I don't know. It just seems weird if you want to maybe package the two together. Oh, it's Time Swapper, and then you got the green game and the red game, kind of thing. But I don't know. It just seems I don't know if someone's
maybe
like,
they wanted to call it the Red Green Show game.
The colorblind suite.
You ever watch the Red Green Show?
No.
You haven't? Oh my goodness.
No siree, Bob.
David Lloyd will be very upset with you. It's a Canadian show.
Oh,
it's pretty great.
Well,
it's on PBS though. I used to watch it all the time when I was little, and it would scare me because it's kind of a weird show. But nowadays, I catch it sometimes like late night, and it's it's really funny. It's really weird and funny. Anyway, yes, Green Game, the Time Swapper from iFun for All. $2.99. Casey doesn't like it apparently.
They don't have a way with names.
But speaking of, I'd love to hear you do this next game. No. You're reviewing it too. You gotta learn it.
Aces of Luftwaffe.
That's not bad. Sure.
Squadron.
Yeah.
How would you say it? How do you say it? It's
Luftwaffe.
Luftwaffe. Aces of Luftwaffe.
Yeah.
Squadron. Anyway, $14.99. This is another shoot 'em up game, but I mean, I just started playing last night, so I'm really not that far into it. But it's pretty cool. You've got like one ship, and then you've got like 3 ships that sort of fly in formation with you, so you can play up to 4 players. But if you don't, they just sort of follow your command. Like if you go right, they all sort of go right with you. And just to shoot 'em up so far. I know Justin Nation absolutely adores this game. So.
Absolutely, yeah, nothing but praise. So
no, I'm like I said, I've enjoyed it so far, but I really have only just scratched the surface. So we'll
hear about that next week
in depth for sure.
$14.99. But next up, a game that I have played before. VVVVVV.
For $9.99. Now this is a game I have never played. Which I've been wanting to, because I've heard about it so much, and it seems like pretty universal praise. It seems like most people enjoy it, but I just have never gotten around to it.
Well, apparently there's a new local cooperative multiplayer mode, which sounds cool, but good luck with that. This game is like one of the games where you just could die constantly.
Yeah, tough as nails, right?
There's time trials, no death mode. Good luck with that. I just don't know. I don't know why I would want to get this on here when it's on 3DS for cheaper and it has stereoscopic 3D.
Because then you got to pull out your 3DS. Honestly,
yeah, but it's like if I've played it on 3, I don't know. It's a fun looking, like very simple game, right? Mm-hmm. I could see them remaking this. I know it would lose a certain charm, but I think it'd gain a charm if they kind of did. Like, at Cave Story 3D.
Yep.
How they kind of did a polygonal look for it and kind of upgraded the visuals. I think that might be kind of cool for this game. But yeah, it's kind of like a cult classic, right?
Yeah. No, like I said, I've heard that it's tough, but one of these days, maybe. Yeah.
It's a platformer where you don't jump. It's where you change the gravity. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, just so people know. But speaking of a platformer.
We've got Rive Ultimate Edition for $12.75. I believe it's 15% off for the first week and change. I know they're doing like a launch discount kind of thing on it.
Well, it's that 15% discount, like I was talking about from the.
Oh,
they're actually honoring that from the E3.
Is that for everyone, or because I didn't download that game and
I think
showing
it's for
up?
everyone.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's for everyone.
Yeah,
But
so
I've heard them talk about that actually. So.
well, it's cool that they stuck to it.
Yeah, totally.
Next up, this is a little game I'm sure a few people have heard of. It's out for literally every single console you could ever imagine, and that is The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim for $59.99, your standard retail release price.
Yes, sir.
And I've been hearing very good things.
Oh yeah, and I right before we started this podcast, I just opened up my copy that I got in the mail.
Another game for Jimmy.
Yeah, but this is just a quick one, I figure I could probably blow through this in one night, so.
Yeah, well, if you play it like I originally did way back in the day, you can easily play it in one night. Where you only do one mission line, and it was great.
Well, I honestly don't know if I'll get to it before next week. We'll see.
Save it for around Christmas time when I pick it up, and we can talk about it together.
I have like 200 moons in Mario, and
ooh, so how many moons? Quick aside, how many moons you at?
I think I'm at like 240.
Jimmy.
Yeah, I've just been doing too much stuff. Too much stuff, Case.
I'm at 5 Hondo.
All right, but and I got Doom, and oh baby, you know how it is.
And then Rocket League, and yeah.
Rocket League comes in, and it's just like the perfect game to play, to just jump in with some friends at night and play. So
now
I will play Skyrim though. I'm very excited to.
Yeah, I am too. Like I said, it'll be after Xenoblade, but we'll get there.
Yep.
Now this next game,
maybe I'll wait then,
is a strange one, but apparently,
man, I've heard nothing but
really good
great
things.
about it.
This game is Battle Chef Brigade for $19.99. Now, people might.
This is from Adult Swim Games.
Yep, and people might remember this was the strange game that was mixing a match 3 with like a beat 'em up, and Neil Ronahan, site director for Nintendo World Report, he played and wrote the review, and he absolutely adores this game. I remember seeing a tweet that I guess he sort of has like a running top 5 of the year, and I believe he said this was going to be breaking into that top 5. Now, a quick plug for me, I actually did the video review for him over on Nintendo World Report TV, YouTube, so if you wanted to check out the video, we got that there. But yeah, no, I've heard a lot of really, really good things about this game, and
yeah, it's
the
wacky
footage,
premise.
Yeah, the footage I got to see was pretty cool too. So,
man, I mean, looking at screenshots on the eShop, I mean, it looks like a cartoon, like
it's like a Saturday morning cartoon.
I'd like to see it. Yeah, I'd like to see it in action. It's very weird looking. Like, yeah, it looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. But anyway, I've heard cool things. It's a blend of multiple genres. But let's keep moving on to one of the best names I've ever heard of a game. Dead Synchronicity. Tomorrow Comes Today.
I don't know what's better, the first part or the second part of that title.
Yeah, I know. I know.
The art style is out of this world, though.
Very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what this is about. So, it tells the story of Michael, a man with no past, who must recover his identity and decode the 2 events that brought the world to the edge of collapse. The first one is the so-called Great Wave, and the second is a pandemic that has turned humans into, quote, the dissolved.
So sort of sounds like a zombie adventure game.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a Telltale game, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of looks like it's an adventure game. I'm assuming it's not a... It's an adventure game, that's what they call it. So it looks like a point and click, maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks cool. Looks like a cool comic book, so... But
this next game... Should I try, or do you actually know how to pronounce this one?
I'm pretty sure it's Ernog.
Beautiful.
Ernog Earn Limited.
I'm so glad they did the Earn Limited.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's so
Yep.
funny.
I'm actually reviewing this game for the old NWR, and yeah, it's a platformer game. It's funny. It's kind of like Super Mario Bros. 2, where you're jumping on stuff and picking it up, and then
Some cool colors.
like throwing it. Cool colors, interesting. Yeah, this is from Raw Fury. They're publishing it, so they're the same publishers who also did little-known Talk Nintendo gems called Goner and Kingdom. So, you know,
I look forward to hearing about that game next
yeah,
week.
I don't know too much yet. I've played about half hour. It's very weird, but yeah, you'll hear about it next week.
Next up, we've got MXGP3, the official motocross video game. Now,
Woo!
they have video game here as one word.
Yeah, I know. That's what I saw too.
Don't like that. But anyway, you can experience all the adrenaline of motocross with the official championships only video game. Still one word.
It looks pretty dang good.
Yeah, no, it graphically looks nice. And you know what? Those racing games and like motorbike games are usually pretty fun. I mean, I haven't played one in a while, but you know, back in the day, and I'm sure they probably feel a lot nicer nowadays.
Plus, you can render your rider and your bike unique with more than 300 official components for a complete customization.
Pretty cool. Now,
Anyway,
this game
yeah.
is $39.99, and it looks like you could buy it physical as well for
Cool.
$39.99. So
That'll be good for the holidays, you know. I'm sure, like, for people buying the Switch in the store, I could see a lot of people picking this up because, you know, there's not really any other game like it. And next up we have
Super Beat Sonic 3 for
it's
$39.99. Oh, nope. You know what it was?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. That's funny.
I see what happened.
I
Yeah.
copy and pasted because and it took the 3
Yep.
from the price. Sorry.
That's funny.
We've got Super Beat Sonic for $39.99. Now, this is like a rhythm game, right? Of some sort?
Yeah. You know, yeah. I can't tell how to play it from the
The screens.
but I see S++ ranks.
I also see that you could play through 68 unique songs and locks.
I like how they just tell you how many instead of saying over 65.
Yeah, over 67 unique songs.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Okay.
I wonder why they didn't just add 2 more to get it to that nice, sweet 70 spot, you know? But
Yeah. Or add 3 more and said over 70. That's probably would have been better. But
yeah.
anyway, it's $39.99. It's another rhythm game. Whatever.
Whatever.
I'm glad you like that. And last up, we have.
Gear.Club Unlimited.
Okay, so you know how you said you don't like video game is one word?
Mm-hmm.
I do not like this. Gear.Club with no space.
Well, are you on Nintendo's page? Can you see the box art? I feel like the box art has it where it's like more like a dash.
It's like a. Yeah.
It looks better on the
like
box.
A hyphen.
For sure.
Yeah, that makes sense, but I wouldn't call that Gear.Club. I would just call it Gear Club.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's not called Gear.Club. That's not how you say it. But I just...
Don't tell me how to say it.
Little pet peeve.
I'll see a dot.
However you want, buddy.
I'm going to call it a dot. I calls it how I sees it, Perry. No, but this game looks really... I mean, looks like a pretty cool racing game, and I believe David Lloyd is on the review.
Yes, and he posted it.
Yeah, I remember him saying, I guess initially he was a little frustrated earlier on because I guess he was trying to play it more like a Forza game, where I guess it's not quite to that level of simulation, you know, maybe not going
he
for
said
that much realism.
Once he stopped comparing it to Forza, it got a lot better, which makes sense to me.
And you know what's weird? This game is $44.99. Sort of strange, but honestly, it looks pretty cool. I mean,
I think it's a retail game.
Yep. You could buy it retail although it sent me to Amazon and I don't see it here. But you should by theory be able to purchase it. But anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, it looks like a cool little game, and make sure to check out David's review if you are interested. And
Wonderful.
That's going to bring us to the end of the eShop Roundup, and I'm pretty exhausted, and I could go for a drink.
I could go for a drink. You want to go to McDonald's? They have a $1 any size.
Nope, I'm looking
Pop?
for a big old glass of ice milk. You know where I could get one?
Ice milk. At the YouTube Saloon.
Anyway, they're not serving that here at the saloon, but what they are serving up
Yes, they are
some hot YouTube vidges.
Oh, yeah, from Talk Nintendo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is our YouTube page, and we have a mini play up this week that I did of Time Recoil 10 Tons, one of their shooters. Talked about it last week. Did a little thing, and I think it's if you want to see what the game's all about, it's a great watch. I think it's one of the funnest parts of the game. Is a lot of fun. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we've actually got the continuation from a couple weeks ago. We started a Super Mario World race, world by world, and we've got World 2 going up. It will actually be up by the time you're listening to this, over there on the YouTube. Mm-hmm. And now
Who will win?
Yes, it's going to be tight. I'm not going to say who won the first one either, because you should check that out too. That one, I really like the old retro style.
Is this Wendy?
Ones. What's up?
Yeah, me too. Is this Wendy? Whose castle did we go to?
I forget who the second castle is. Is it Morton?
Yeah, Morton. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Morton. There you go.
So no, these might be. I mean, I like when we do the retro ones, but I think the Super Mario World might be so far my favorite challenges we've been doing. So you should definitely check.
Maybe because
those
it's
out.
one of the best games ever created of all time.
Yeah, that probably has a very big part to do with it. Now. Last week we had teased that we were gonna have a Rocket League video up. We got really busy.
Yeah, we said we would on Friday actually.
Yeah,
which I forgot that we said that. I'm sorry.
You know, we've been reviewing a bunch of games, and as everyone knows, and by the last couple eShop roundups, we've got games on deck. So unfortunately, that one sort of slid to the wayside. But we will have it up this Friday for you to listen, and that is a guarantee because we're gonna record it right after we're done with this podcast.
You got that right, Schnookums. But yeah, so we're gonna do that. Also, up on the YouTube, if everything goes, I'm crossing my fingers here. We're gonna have a really cool interview with Zoink Games about Stick It to the Man that's coming out this Thursday. And we're going to talk all about the Switch port. You know, they're bringing Flipping Death, which is like the pseudo sequel to it. We're going to be talking all that stuff, and I cannot wait. It's going to be such a fun interview. David Lloyd is actually going to join me. Casey's going to have to be working.
Yep.
Or something.
Unfortunately, I'll be stuck at the old grind. You know.
Casey hates the Swedish.
Well, I hate their times. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. But it's okay. David's always there.
David is a worthy replacement for me, for sure.
Yeah. So look forward to that. I'll have that up as soon as possible. Hopefully up in the next couple days. But it also, we're going to do an audio one as well. So, yeah, look forward to that.
Now, enough of that orange chocolate milk concoction. It is time for the old news block.
News Talk with Casey Gibson.
Now, I want to wish somebody a very happy birthday, and that is to the one and only Mr. Miyamoto, who turned 64 this past week. It was actually November 16th.
Are you sure 64? I think it's 65.
Was it 65? Did I hit a typo?
I think so.
Hold on.
I think so.
Hold on. Yep, 65. Casey's a Jimmy.
Jimmy's wrong.
Jim is wrong. Happy 65th birthday to the one and only Mr. Miyamoto.
Because 64, I feel like 64.
It would have been too perfect.
Hello. Yeah. But anyway, yes. Happy birthday, Miyamoto. You have some great ideas for games.
And you're a treasure.
And you are a treasure.
Now, this next little bit came over. I think it was at the end of last week, maybe. It might have been like right after we posted the podcast or something. We got word that Animal Crossing Pocket Camp was going to be releasing on the 22nd, which is a Wednesday. But actually, it came out today, which is the 21st.
Yep, sure
it
did.
came up. I downloaded it. I have not yet played it. I mean, I there was like an update, and then I got to literally like name my character, and then I had to go back to work. So I'm gonna put some time into that. I'm sure Perry will be as well, and we'll probably be talking about that next week. But
yeah,
cool.
I hope if I can find some room on my phone. But yeah, I was thinking about Animal Crossing and it's like I'm really not interested in that app. Like when everything's said and done, it's like I am not interested in this little world building. You have to complete. You have to wait 6 hours for this to complete thing. Like that just doesn't interest me at all, and I'm not gonna spend any money.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't know how.
I'll definitely try it out.
Yeah, I don't know how far it'll get its talons into me. Especially, honestly, I think the biggest thing that keeps me from playing a game like this or like Fire Emblem Heroes is the majority of my day at work, I get such bad service at my desk that I wouldn't be able to connect online and really play anyway. Like, if I got perfect service, there'd probably be a really good chance, like, something like this would be perfect to kill time at work, you know what I mean? But as it stands, I'm definitely going to put some time into it and see if it grabs me, but I have a feeling it'll probably be one of those things I dabble with for a week or so and then sort of just forget about it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to let you start this next piece because I know you must have been a happy camper when you saw this.
Yeah. I woke up this morning and I walked downstairs and then I got a text from my buddy Case and he's like, hey, there's a new ranked mode coming to Splatoon 2.
Ooh-wee.
Oh, man. So it's funny because Aaron and I were just talking about this like last week. Like, there really needs to be a new... Like, I can't believe they released that without a new ranked mode. Like, that's kind of crazy, you know? And it's coming. And also 4 new stages. 4.
Yes, sir.
Which is great. I mean... and they told everyone about them.
Yep, the Mako Mart or the Mako Mart.
Yeah. Mako. I think it's probably Mako if it's Japanese.
Which is
Mako
like,
Mart.
yeah, it's like actually in like a little store.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It's like a supermarket. It looks amazing.
And that comes out on Friday, the 24th. So we don't have to wait long for that one.
Oh, dude, Walleye Warehouse is coming. And Arowana Mall. Heck
and
yes.
Schellendorf Institute.
Schellendorf.
I thought that was so funny.
That's the best. Oh my goodness. Yes, that's awesome. So I actually haven't got to look at that Schellendorf.
But we also have got a new salmon run stage called Salmonoid Smoke Yard. You've got about 140 new pieces of gear.
Yeah, what the heck is that? Okay,
so
that's
shoes, shirts, all that
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
New battle music, new hairstyle, new functions for the amiibo.
Now this is
this. Why don't you take this one? This is pretty big news. I feel like.
Well, actually, the next one I just saw.
Yeah, that one. I think that one's bigger news, but I think this one's exciting for like the really hardcore people.
Yeah. So you can. They raised the level caps from 50 to 99, and what's crazy is that if you get past 99, which probably someone tomorrow will be, you can prestige and go back to 1 with a star
and work your way back up again. Show the people what's good, you know.
Wow.
I think that's cool
crazy.
because I mean. For me, okay.
No, I think it's amazing. I think it's fantastic.
And I was going to say, for me, my biggest thing with leveling up like a game like that, right, is I always think back to Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. So Diablo 2, there was the cap was 99. It might have been 100, but it was 99 or 100. And it was really hard to get to that point because, like, you know, when you got up to, like, level 90, it would take tens of hours on top of each other, you know what I mean, to level up just once, and if you die, you'd lose experience. So it was really tough. But then what they did when you got to Diablo 3 is like you hit to level 60, and then you were capped, and it was like you didn't have that little bit of reward for like, because the big thing with that game is like you're trying to find new loot, new items, you know what I mean? So just like in Diablo 2, it was so nice to be like, I'm gonna go find items, and oh look, I went up a level, like awesome, you know what I mean? Where in like Diablo 3, it'd be like, it's like, oh, no items, and I didn't gain it, and they eventually added something called Paragon levels, which would level up to, but it's just like, it wasn't the same, you know? So I think for this, it'll be nice for those people to get up to 99 and then have the option to go back to 1 and just feel accomplished, you know what I mean, during games that you're still seeing something climb, you know?
Yeah. And I honestly, like, I remember right before the Switch came out. No, I think it was right when the Switch came out. I kind of like officially retired Splatoon, you know, because I got to level 50, you know, and it was just kind of like that was the end, right? But
not anymore here.
Because you kind of get there because you're always, even though it's meaningless, but it does give you that sense of, you know, you are pursuing something. So I think this is fantastic because I think since it's released at the beginning of the Switch, I mean, I will definitely play it way more. I mean, I've already played, you know, like I think I just checked and I've had like over 120 hours on Splatoon 2.
Jesus Christmas.
So
remember when you hated
know what
it?
I mean? Yes. Yes, I do.
I'll never forget.
And you know what? Yeah. Anyway, now the other thing that is new, which is this is crazy.
It feels like something that should have been either implemented long ago or just should have just been out of the box. But it's nice that they're getting around to it.
Yeah. Gear swapping between rounds without exiting. Now I don't know.
Thank you, Nintendo.
Yeah, seriously, absolutely. Did they tell what modes?
I'm pretty sure it's game wide. But
man.
Don't quote me on that. And there's a good chance, like, oh no, it's only for Turf Wars.
Is the update out now?
I think it's Friday. I think when that new the new map releases on Friday, I think that's everything released. Well, not everything. Well, yeah, I guess, right? Let me see. I'm not 100% sure.
Anyway, but it'll be out in the very soon.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Oh, it releases. Oh no, never mind. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that it.
Oh yeah, it says 11/24.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's when Mach-O-Mar is releasing, so I'm assuming it's around that time. So.
But they
very cool.
Now, what's cool is they also detailed a second free update that's coming in mid-December, and now this for me is the most exciting. This will introduce a brand new ranked mode, which we talked a tiny bit on before, called Clam Blitz.
Yes, I'm so excited, dude. I'm so excited.
I know
about this.
it sounds so good. So
it sounds like a mixture of like Fish Volcano and Salmon Run.
Yeah. So,
but in a way.
So essentially, what's going to happen is around the map is going to be clams that'll just be scattered about, and what you need to do is go pick up these clams, and then they'll start to follow you, and then you need to get them into the basket. But the basket is near the enemy's base, so obviously, you know, you're going to have to go deep into enemy territory to deposit these clams. And the first team to 100 clams will win the match. Now this sounds super cool, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Oh man, I can't wait. I love Salmon Run, and it is unofficially the new mode of the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was no ranked matches, but there was Salmon Run, which is amazing. But we've lately just been playing League mode, you know, with as we play, you know, and so I'm so excited to play through this again. So woohoo! Definitely hear more about that. Definitely have a challenge and mini play and everything on that. So
yes, sir.
Very cool. Now, next up we have Valkyria Chronicles 4 was announced to come to the Switch next year. Which it has some.
It's a strategy RPG. I don't know if you've ever played it.
Okay. So was this the game that people they would? I feel like they compared Codename Steam to. I think.
Was it?
Have you played one before?
I have not played a Valkyrie Chronicles, but I'm pretty sure it is because I'm looking at like screens and it looks like it might play similar to that. No, people love Valkyrie Chronicles. Valkyria, excuse me.
There you go.
So I'm excited to try it out for sure. I mean, I like a good old strategy RPG, and now it begs the question: will the Switch see any sort of release of the previous games? I mean, a bundle of all three, that would be pretty cool.
I'd say so. I think that would be awesome. So,
yeah, I would.
I mean, especially for introductions, you know.
I almost bought. I think it was the remastered version. I think it's just the first game. Yeah, I almost bought that for PS4. Like, I remember I'd pre-ordered it, but I was just like, there's no way I'm going to play this big strategy RPG game on the PS4. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But yeah, if that came Switch side, I'd be down with that.
Heck yeah.
Now, this next one, I forgot if we'd mentioned this. I know we'd talked about...
We can mention it quickly.
Yeah, the ARMS 4.0 update with a new fighter, Misango?
Sure.
Missing number?
Missing go.
He's a Pokemon. Yeah, that's live, so you can go check out the new character, which is cool. I still need to get back.
Man.
I've been a turd. I haven't played that game in a while.
Oh, dude, how are we supposed to?
We need a week of just
how is
catch-up
any
time.
Switch player supposed to? You know what I mean? There are too many games. Stop it, Nintendo.
Yep.
We hate you.
Yeah. I want to go back to 2014 when there was no dang games.
It's kind of funny because it's kind of true. Not really, though.
We need like a mix of the two. I'm hoping after this...
No, I'm fine with how it is.
Oh, me too. I'd rather have an abundance to choose from than scraping together.
I mean, this is...
But I'm hoping after the holidays, like, just give me January and February of a slow month and let me catch up. Please.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess real quickly, I've heard that Versus Mario Bros. Is going to be the next arcade game for the hamsters doing for Nintendo. So I think that's coming like by Christmas, like before Christmas Eve or something. So
great, another game.
I know. But dude, that'll be so great.
Oh no! Oh, for sure. No,
on.
that's gonna be great. Now this last little bit, I think we got a jingle that might describe it perfectly, don't we, Perry?
Would you say it's dumb?
It's a dumb story, a really dumb story, the dumb story of the day.
Yep, a really dumb story.
It's a little dumb. Miitopia got an 18+ rating in Russia.
In Mother Russia.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much news. That's why it's sort of the dumb fact of the day or whatever. It's not really newsworthy, but I thought it was just sort of funny that Miitopia is such like a... I mean, it's a little weird and quirky, but, you know, I feel like it's a pretty family-friendly, fun game, and apparently not in Russia.
There's like these double entendres that like in Russian is like really risque and vulgar.
And Nintendo's like, we will not change our game. Not for the likes of you.
You just have to take it, Russia. Yep, that's amazing.
But anyway,
you said, we wanted mature games on Nintendo consoles, didn't we?
Yeah, they're delivering big time, baby.
Boom.
I wonder if that's like the first Nintendo published game or like Nintendo developed game to get an 18+. Miitopia.
And it's so funny that it's Miitopia. That's wonderful.
Awesomeness. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick little breather. We're going to go grab some turkey. I'm going to throw my stuffing right in the garbage. And then we're going to be back.
Give it to me.
Right in the can. But I am going to grab a whole bowl of peas and some video games to talk about. And we'll be back in just a second.
Just take a Sharpie and write Perry on the can.
Alrighty, we are back. And we are going to be talking about games we're thankful for. You know, obviously, we've got Thanksgiving coming up. This episode is actually going to be posting on Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to one and all. I hope everyone is having a great day, eating some good food, seeing some family and all that jazz, playing some good video games. If you're not in America, well, you should go out and grab some turkey anyway, join in on the festivities.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Yep.
essentially for this this little segment here, we're just going to be talking about some games. They don't necessarily have to be our favorite games of all time, but they very might well be. And yeah, we're just going to sort of talk about some games and why they're important to us and why we're thankful for.
Yeah, it's hard to pick games that aren't your very favorite, because a lot of times the ones that you're your favorite games are the ones you're most thankful for.
Yeah,
you know
of
what
course.
I mean?
Yeah, they resonate.
I tried to pick ones that are a little more off the unique side. Like, maybe not my favorite games ever, but
yeah, I too. I've got a couple that are easily in the conversation for my favorite games of all time. But I've also got a couple you'll be like, what? Like, that's sort of weird. Okay. And would you like to kick us off, Perry?
I'm thankful for Sonic Mania because it finally closed the door.
Because it reminds me that not all games suck. As bad as it does.
Yeah.
No.
Because it really holds the bar low. No. Just kidding. Sonic Mania is not bad. Okay.
There's
Yes,
a little
my
asterisk
first
next to that, though.
Yeah. Okay, the first one I want to talk about is Super Mario Land 2. For the Game Boy. So, this game, I grew up with this game. I wasn't into video games a lot as a kid, but mostly it was Game Boy that I played. Pokemon and Super Mario Land 2. The reason I'm thankful for it is, first of all, for providing me with the training. It's a perfect first Mario game, I think, because you got nice. It's beautiful, and you have a nice big floaty jumps. It's a lot of fun, and it's really bizarre and really weird.
Yeah, it's sort of out there.
Yeah, it is, and but the real reason why I'm thankful.
I don't.
You gotta know it. Oh, you gotta. What is interesting about Super Mario Land 2?
Oh, is it Super Mario Land 2?
It might be the introduction of
Is Wario?
Someone. Yes.
Wah!
Yes.
Well, I guess that's more Waluigi,
Yes.
but yeah, you do love your Wario.
I do love Wario, and I love the whole idea, the concept of the evil twin/evil just version of Mario, and changing the M to a W meaning war, and it's perfect. So I love that game. And then not only that, but the music, it is famously, I've said it before, it is my favorite music, my favorite theme from any game ever. Comes from that game. I did actually a Themesters podcast on connectivity with Johnny Metz and Nicholas Bray, and I did a bunch of covers of the songs, and I absolutely loved them. And it's everything about it. And I'm sure it's fueled by nostalgia, but also it's just creates this atmosphere that's out of this world. So mixed with the weird, just the general bizarreness, and then the introduction of Wario, it's so weird,
Yeah, no, that's the best thing. I feel like with some of these sequels, especially back in the day, they try and change it up so much, and you really would get introduced to like those weird things that are quirky, but like they obviously resonate, and Wario obviously stuck around for quite a while. So
there you go. Yeah,
good stuff.
Yep.
Now my first, I'm going to talk about a pair of games here, and they're going to be my. I think there's 3 games on my little short list here that you could just be like, oh well, duh. Like, it sort of makes sense. But the first 2, we're going to go with a pair of Super Nintendo games that I've talked plenty about, so it's not going to be super long about them. Link to the Past and Super Mario World, obviously two of the arguably best Super Nintendo games, and can easily
best games
can
of
easily
all time.
stand tall today. I'm thankful for those just because, without those games, where are we? Am I playing as much games as I am now? Probably not. Like those games were paramount, in setting course my love of video games and Nintendo in general. So that's why those two always have a special place in my heart. Obviously, like I said, I mean we've talked about them. There's not much more to say about how amazing they are. So, and then I guess I'll just get my third sort of obvious one out of the way, and that is actually the original Pokemon for Red and Blue back in the day.
Oh yeah.
I remember the first time I played Pokemon. Pokemon Blue, it was my friend Brett, not to be confused with my brother Brett. I had a friend Brett at the time, and he had a Game Boy and Pokemon, and he's like, yo, you got to check this out. At that point, I don't think I've ever really even played a Game Boy at that point. I'd played, the NES or Super Nintendo, and I just fell in love with it right away. And it was just like, I remember playing for hours on that day, and it was just like, I need this game. And
I remember walking into my brother's room, who was with his friend Nick. They were playing Red on a Super Nintendo. They were playing it, the Super
on
Game
the big boy. Yep.
On their TV screen. That's when I first saw it, and I was just, it was just like, oh my goodness, this is...
Yeah, it was amazing.
Changing my life.
Yep. I remember that feeling, just like, oh, I need this game. And then, obviously, if it was like a Super Nintendo game, that would have been pretty, ask for that for Christmas, and I probably would have gotten it, But obviously with this, I would have needed a Game Boy as well. So it was like, oh, man, like, I hope I get this for Christmas. And I actually ended up getting a green Game Boy Pocket and both Pokemon Red and Blue. Because my mom was like, I didn't know which one to get, and I didn't know that, so I just got them both. So I was able to.
Oh, you poor little boy.
Yeah, I was rolling in the Pokemon.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think that was my very first JRPG, and that sort of set the path for my love of Japanese role playing games.
Interesting. Yeah, well, definitely with me. I think it was a lot of people's first JRPG.
Yeah, it would make sense, and obviously to this very day, I love playing that genre. So that's a big reason why I'm thankful for those. Like I said, those are my three most obvious, megaton games, if you will. Yeah,
gotcha. Well, moving on. Next one up, Animal Crossing for the GameCube. This is kind of a magical game in my life growing up. Finding out about it, kind of showing me this new kind of game that's just, it's not really...
It wasn't a game, it wasn't.
Yeah, but it's not like a simulation. Like, it's not like Sims. I have never once been interested in playing Sims, or SimCity or anything like that. I'm not saying it's bad. I've never actually been interested in it. And just one second. Hey, Jill. Yeah. Can you shut the door in the office? Oh, right there. Thanks. Love you. Okay. So I have nothing against The Sims. It just never stood out to me. It doesn't look like a game. So, but this kind of has, Animal Crossing kind of has the elements of this, but you're actually controlling a person, and you are a character, and you're making this town, and you're building something, and your relationships and stuff, and I don't know. It was just a completely different, opening my eyes to what games could be. It's kind of a genre-defining game.
Yeah, not every game needs to be attacking enemies or platforming or something,
Exactly, yeah. It's a communication game, right?
Yep.
So, there you go.
Well, let me just say, Animal Crossing is also on my list for the GameCube. And like you said, it was one of those, I was in the store, I think it was like a Kmart or something, one of those, sort of big chain stores with my mom, and it must have been, I think Animal Crossing came out, what was it, 2004? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm trying to remember. 2002.
2002. I'm guessing
So
2002.
then that means Columbus Day, the first Columbus Day after that release is when I got that game. And I remember because I had off from school. It was a Monday. I had off. And my mom, I don't know why or how I finagled her into getting it, but she picked it up for me that day. We bought it. And I remember going home and just fell in love. It was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then, Sandy would play and she had her little house. And I remember waking up to get mushrooms before school. I think it was like 5 or 6 in the morning. They were out, and I was like, I'm not gonna cheat.
Wonderful.
I'm getting up early, doing this, and yeah, that game just a great game. And obviously, it sort of blew up after that point. It's gotten pretty popular, and there's, as we just talked, a mobile game just came out, but that first GameCube game, something special.
Definitely. Well, another game that I am thankful for that is kind of interesting, but Earthbound.
I would never have guessed that for you.
Yeah, I just love first of all, I love the design and obtuseness of it, that just in its time, the wackiness, of course, of why it's a cult hit, but I love the community that has spawned from it and the love that kind of exists at the core of a Nintendo. I think it's just one of the coolest things about Nintendo is Earthbound, and everyone kind of knows that if in some form. I know some people don't like the game, which I can totally get because but those people don't understand the game. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Idiots.
But yeah, I mean, it's not really. It's one of those games where it's not supposed to be a fluid experience with, it's like purposely obtuse and weird with an incredible atmosphere that just draws you in like from the very beginning. I just nothing. I don't know if I've ever had like an intro. It's kind of like the intro to Link to the Past, where it's like in the rain and you wake up when you're going, and it's kind of that type of a deal almost with the Earthbound. And I love everything. I love the culture that it's created.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about Earthbound, especially in that time, Super Nintendo, I feel like a lot of the JRPGs were, medieval swords and shields and axes and magic and all that kind of thing, and they sort of took the gameplay from those and then sort of put you're just a kid from a small town and you use a baseball bat and your buddy uses a yo-yo and just like
right.
You can almost connect to it more, than
right.
like any of those other games. And yeah, I need to go back and play that game again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good. I could totally see them doing a retail release of Earthbound for Switch.
Still waiting for that Mother 3 though.
Right. I bet they'll do a collection. I could just totally see it.
I like your optimism.
I could see it. For some reason, it just makes sense to me. Like, it just has that cult following, and it's something that they would do now. But anyway, what else you got on your Thanksgiving list?
All right, I've got 3 things left. How many do you have?
I have 2 things.
Okay, so we'll go. This will work out well then. All right, so this one is a game I've talked about before a little bit too. Meteos for the DS. Now, this is a very cool little puzzle game. And it was actually Sakurai worked on it, and if you play the game, you could definitely see his menuing style is very present in this game. This was just one of those. The DS was the first system I had a job for. I was a caddy, so like I finally had disposable income of my own that I could go purchase these games, and not have to rely on it being gifted to me on birthday or Christmas or whatever. So the DS, I really racked up a lot of games, and I would just play like anything and everything. I was, I had a lot of weird games, but this game just is one that, in the entire DS catalog, just easily sticks out among the above the rest of them, in my brain, and it's just I've so addicted to it, and it's just action-packed, fun puzzle game, and it's just a joy to play, and it's still a joy to play today.
Oh, for sure. Heck yeah.
But yeah, not too much more to say about that than other than it's just one of those games that just resonated with me and still does.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always heard that it destroys screens.
Yeah, you're frantically hitting that screen with your stylus to move the blocks around, because it definitely does get very tense at points where it's like, ah,
Yeah.
oochie boochie.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, my next game that I'm thankful for would be, this is kind of a no-death thing because I've talked about it a lot, but WarioWare DIY.
You've never talked about that game.
Yeah. This game taught me, I don't claim to be any sort of, I'm not a developer of any sorts of anything, but it taught me the essence of how games work, and kind of inspired me to create my own, and just help me with everything that has to do with that, with I've always done music, but implementing that, but then just working on animation and designing concepts, and then designing ideas around concepts I learned while making a game. It changed my life. It really did. And I've played it a lot.
Well, I was going to say, it gave you a deeper understanding of what goes into making a game. And
yeah.
It sounds like it's sort of where maybe before you would just play games and you could appreciate it, but now you're sort of thinking about the game on another level,
Yep.
And
totally.
I think that's
like, seriously, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, for a game to be able to do that is really, really cool.
Yeah, it did, and so it really did give me, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It gave me a deeper appreciation for games in general, like all games, So it's an incredible experience, and it's so funny because it's wrapped up in this wacky Japanese WarioWare thing, but it's absolutely an amazing piece of software. Like, just unbelievable. The amount of, it's just, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you really can, especially, I mean, they could make an updated version of it and add a few things, and then it would be like one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Like, I've ever heard. Like, because they only give you like a few variables in the design of some stuff, like movement patterns and stuff like that. But you can still like work around it and make incredible things with that engine. So it's kind of like the first developing engine that that
it was
me. So
the Mario Maker before Mario Maker.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a sequel to Mario Paint.
Mm-hmm.
It just works so well with the WarioWare aesthetic, making 5 or 10-second games. So, anywho,
now this next game, no one's gonna ever guess this one on there, but this is Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime for the DS.
Oh.
Now,
the heck?
Yeah, the reason this sort of goes on my list of games here that I'm thankful for is, now I can't remember particularly why, but I felt like at the time when this game came out, or shortly beforehand, it was sort of like a lull in my gaming. Obviously, it's a DS game. Like I said, I finally had disposable income, so I was buying games. But for some reason, I don't know, there's just like a lull in my gaming. I don't know if maybe I was getting, I don't want to say burnt out, but it was just, other things were going on. And I picked this game up, and I fell in love with it. And it's funny because it's like I couldn't even really tell you exactly what the game's about nowadays. It's been so long. Like, I can remember like big battles where you're like in a big tank and you're facing another tank, and like there's smaller battles in between, and you got to destroy the other guy's big tank, and it's a weird game. But it whatever it did, it sparked like a real hard passion for retro gaming at that point in time. And I remember going back on eBay, buying like the original Dragon Warrior games for the NES, like in box. Like I had like Dragon Warrior 4. I've since sold it, but I'm pretty sure that game is at the time of my selling it years ago, it was like $100 complete in box.
Oh no.
So I bet you, I'm looking at it here. Yeah, it looks like it's more like $200, maybe a little cheaper than that complete in box if you want to buy those games. But yeah, for whatever reason, it completely sparked like a rejuvenation in retro gaming and collecting. So at the time, I remember I was like, man, I'm so glad I bought that game.
Yeah. Wonderful. I love that. I haven't heard you talk about that ever.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a random game that, like I said, it was more so like what the game did for me, and then regenerating that love of picking up and playing older games and stuff, more so than the actual game itself.
Mm-hmm.
But now
Very
this is
cool.
going to bring us to the last game each, right?
Yeah, and I wonder if it's the same game.
I guarantee it's not.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what your game is here, so.
Well, my last game here, it's a very no-duh thing, but that would be a Wii U gem called Splatoon.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, a game that one of those games where my expectations were low on it because I wasn't really excited for the concept of the turf war. That mode, it seemed like there's nothing really to it. Like it seemed like an empty, like a not very big concept. I don't know. But I definitely got it. Like I was like, I got a Wii U. We're not living in 2017.
Yeah.
There's not releases all the time.
You're either buying Splatoon or you're not playing games.
And amazingly, I spent $60 on it and I downloaded it. And it's crazy to think because I remember I wasn't super excited about it, but I remember falling in love with it when ranked mode, when I playing that, and then just everything's. But we all know the real reason why I'm super thankful, and that would be because I met my buddy Casey.
Yeah, that's true. That's the game, and that actually
It is.
I could think of now another game we could add to that list.
Yeah.
Triforce Heroes.
Yep. I was gonna. Yeah. Same kind of thing. It kind of brought. I'd say Splatoon and Triforce Heroes is the birth of this podcast.
Yep.
Because both amazing games, but I just remember, playing, and we were playing with an NWR.
Group night or whatever it was.
Group night, yeah, and we were the last ones on the call, and we played for hours and hours and stuff, and then since then it's all history.
Yep. Then we do our Twitter DM talks, and then you ask for my phone number.
Remember your settings? Like you never change your settings, so you got like an email for every little tweet message.
I'd get like 1,000 emails a day, and they're all just us talking back and forth. Yeah, no, that's so funny. Like you said, I think Splatoon sparked the friendship, and then Triforce Heroes really solidified it. But two very, very classic games, and very, very important. It's funny to think what happens if one of us had just left early that night or something.
I know. Oh, I'd never want to think of such a thing.
Yeah, I don't want to live that nightmare. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything else to say about Splatoon?
Nope, that's it.
All right, so my last game isn't a game at all, but it is in fact a system.
Telltale Batman.
It is actually the PlayStation 4. Now, hear me out here.
I hear where you're going.
All right, so PS4.
I was gonna do
around,
something
right?
like this too.
So PS4 is out. I've got a Wii U. I haven't been playing it too much. Very sporadic. I feel like off the PS4. Before that, it was I was playing World of Warcraft. Was probably. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Trying to think the time frame, but pretty much like I had sort of drifted away. Aside from like Mario Galaxy when that came out on Wii, I was obviously playing that. Skyward Sword, like the tent pole games.
Yeah.
I would continue to play, but other than that, I wouldn't really play too much. I would be a bit more on the PC. So PS4's coming out, and I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna get a PS4. Like this looks awesome. I remember trying to win it from Taco Bell when they had that $5 box, and you can enter it in. I didn't win. I was like, forget it, I'm going to just buy one. So I ended up buying one at, it was actually, I went launch day to try and pick it up from Target, but I was like, there was 6 in the store, and I was like 8th in line. And I was like, whatever, and I just ordered one online. And essentially, you know, that sort of played a bunch of Battlefield 4, then, you know, Assassin's Creed, and it pretty much was like, oh man, like, it introduced me. I wanted to know more PS4, what was going on. So I started listening to Podcast Beyond from IGN, you know, and then I was like, like, let's see the Nintendo ones, you know. So I listed like NVC, and then I ended up finding Radio Free Nintendo, RFN, and you know, that introduced me to the website Nintendo World Report. Then obviously that sort of just snowballed to eventually getting way more into Nintendo games again, and then ultimately now writing for Nintendo, doing the podcast. So it's funny that PS4 sort of stoked the fire.
Man, you went even a deeper route back.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could be like, I'm thankful that my grandparents had my father
and my mother, and that they happened to shack up.
Yeah. Because then we would have never done this.
Yeah, but no, it's sort of funny to think that it was the PS4 that ended up getting me way more into my 3DS and my Wii U, and then again eventually to talking to people on the site, to game nights, to podcasts, to writing, and it's just sort of funny how that all
to
sort of
traveling
came
to
down.
New York. Well, you know, you're in New York, but traveling to
Didn't have to travel far
to meet the big Reg.
Yeah, the big Reggie.
It all led up to that one moment.
Yep. Thank you, Sony, for reminding me that Nintendo is the best.
dude, that happened to me. I mean, like, honestly, like, I'm thankful. Like, honestly, so in the same, I'm gonna piggyback off you with PS4. I was kind of living, like, you know, I've always loved Nintendo. I've always, you know, been Nintendo. I get what they are. I appreciate everything they do. But, like, you know, in living in the past, you know, decade, they've been no HD, and then, you know, PS4 and PS3 and Xbox 360. I've kind of been thinking, well, you know, games have evolved, and Nintendo's kind of staying back and doing good stuff, but I'm just not into. I feel like maybe other stuff is potentially, like, legitimately better, because, you know, it was selling a lot more, stuff like that. You know, I never had HD stuff. I never, you know,
yeah,
like, I literally never didn't have an HD system until the Wii U.
Yeah.
So I never had a PS3 or Xbox 360 because I was involved in the Wii, you know, and you know, finally, I was kind of thinking the same thing, like with the Vita. It's kind of like, you know, this is a way better, powerful system. I bet there's way better games on the Vita. Like, just because, you know, they have better tools to work with. And I remember getting a Vita and being like, what the heck? There's, like, nothing on here. Like, this is the weirdest thing. And then I bought a PS4 because of Arkham Knight. And I just knew I needed one anyway. So I was like, well, I'm not going to get an Xbox. I hate Microsoft, and so I was like, yeah, PS4. I've always liked Sony. I buy Sony, like, products, like TVs and stuff. And so I got it, and then, you know, it's like, like, this controller. I'm not saying it's awful. I'm not trying to. What I'm trying to say, my whole story is leading to the fact with. It made me appreciate Nintendo 10 times more, because I realized they actually do know what they're doing, and they have this magic about their game making that is just not surpassed by other people. Even though they have these incredible machines to work with, what Nintendo does isn't about that, and they're just incredible. So getting a PS4 and then, you know, trading that for an Xbox, you know, that, and then now it's really my media device. It just taught me that Nintendo is literally the best. And,
Nintendo, you know, is king.
Yeah, so I know what you're saying, even though it's kind of the same what you're saying, but a little different. But
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
like I said, they're fine pieces of hardware, and they have good games, but Nintendo's for me, you know. And yeah, Vita.
Yeah, exactly.
Vita's definitely not for you. Because honestly, like, Vita's library of, like, crazy weird Japanese games, like Japanese RPGs and stuff, like that should speak to me, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping some of those weird offshoot games that would come out on Vita sort of make the jump to the Switch. But that's another conversation for another day. I think that's going to
definitely happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of a conversation for another day, I think it's time to wrap up this episode.
Yep. But before we go, we have some exciting news to talk about before we head out, and that is Nintendo World Report's annual telethon for charity. We are going to be participating this year, which is, I don't know about you, I'm pretty stoked about it.
Heck yeah, this is an incredible thing that NWR has done for like 7
I think this
years?
might be the 8th year.
Yeah. And they've raised like over like 30 grand, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of money.
Like
I know the goal this year is $4,000.
Yep.
It is December 2nd, which is a Saturday. It starts at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and it goes all the way through to midnight. We are slated for 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are going to be doing a mystery history panel.
All right.
So,
heck yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be playing. We're each come with a game, and we're actually going to be joined by David Lloyd, who you guys will hear also on the interview. He's going to be joining us, so it's going to be the three of us. We're each going to bring a game. We're going to do 3 rounds of that and see how it goes and talk some games and be giving away some prizes as well to people who guess it in the chat. So some exciting news. Now, real quick, we do have a... let's see, where is it? Do we have his name? I can't see it right now. There is a faithful listener who has pledged for the last couple years. He will match up to $2,000 for any money donated before the telethon starts.
Unbelievable.
So if you head over to NintendoWorldReport.com, there is a thread with a little donate widget on there, and you can check it out.
Yeah. So go donate now.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, because it'll be worth double whatever you donate.
And I'm going to actually be streaming. We're going to be doing a week of streaming leading up to the telethon to promote it.
Woo-wee.
So I'm going to be streaming on December 1st, which is the night before, a Friday night. Probably going to be doing some Doom and some other multiplayer stuff. And I think what I'm going to do is match up to $50 donated. If anyone who donates during that stream, I'll match up to 50 of it, which in turn really is matching double that also. So if we can get $50 donation there, I'll match that, and then we'll get that 100 matched on top of that. So see if we can earn some money for the kids for Child's Play. So that's a really great cause and some really great stuff.
I'll match up to $10 to donate to your
do it, dude.
Thing.
More money, baby.
So then, yeah.
But yeah, so that's awesome. We'll remind you on the episodes leading up to that. But yes,
it's coming up. I think it's
Yeah. So very exciting stuff, and we're proud to be able to be a part of it. But
heck yeah.
On that note, I think it is truly time to bring us to an end here. You can follow us on Twitter at Talk Nintendo Pod. That is Talk Nintendo POD. You can check the description for a link to YouTube, or you can just go over to YouTube and search Talk Nintendo, and we've got videos all up in there. And I think that's pretty much going to bring us to an end. You got anything to say, Perry?
I do, and that is to our fellow American listeners. Happy Thanksgiving.
Of course, how could I forget? Happy Thanksgiving to one and all. And even if you're not an American listener, we hope you have a great day anyway.
Yeah.
But until next time, we will see you next week.
Giddy up.
I almost missed that clap.
That actually makes it hard for me to do that.
It was
because of the lag.
It was really tough for me too because I was like, and then I was like, oh god, I gotta clap.
That's where the syncopation comes to bite you in the behind.
Right in the rump.
Yep. Hey, we're back, and I should edit that together where it just goes right in the rump.
Oh, I figured that'd be the stinger.
Okay, done. I'm not gonna kill you, but I'll break every bone in your body.
And just for the record,
oh, baby.
before we start, I don't like milk that much, and I would never put ice in my milk. So I don't want people to think I'm some sort of heathen.
I like ice in my milk.
Heathen.
Dude, ice in milk is great. Keeps it cold.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't ever really drink milk, so I'm not a milk
You know
man.
what? I used to drink milk all the time because I love milk. But then I got the old diabetes. So it's like, should I drink? It has carbs in it. So it's like, I'm not going to drink milk over just like having a potato in my meal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. You want to hear a funny,
It is good,
little
though.
story? Growing
Yeah.
up, we always had to have milk with dinner, and I didn't really like milk, so my mom she'd be like, you can have chocolate milk, you can make chocolate milk.
Yeah.
And
you
you
go.
always had to have it with dinner, and you know me, a little kid back then, I don't want milk, I want a soda or iced tea or something. And she's like, nope, you gotta have milk. So the one night, she, I guess there was some milk left over from the night before in a cup, so she, throws some extra chocolate in there from the syrup, stirs it up, and serves it to me for dinner. So I'm drinking. I'm like, Mom, there's something wrong with this chocolate milk. Like, there's something wrong. And she's like, yeah, okay,
Oh, no.
Casey, you little son of a gun. You're just trying to weasel your way out of drinking your milk.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, no, Ma, I swear. And like I'm like another sip. I'm like, there's something wrong with this milk. I'm telling you. And like my brother, she's like, Brett, take a sip of that or look at. And it turns out, it was a glass of orange juice. And she put chocolate syrup in it and stirred it up and made me drink it. It was so
That's
gross. It was
amazing.
so gross.
Dude, I love chocolate oranges. That sounds kind of good to me. That's funny, dude.
I want to go back to 2014 when there was no dang games.